Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. The Umarex Air Javelin. Haven't had this puppy out for a while on the channel, but we're going to see some more of it soon. Promise. Alright, so I got to get a scope on this thing, dial it in. I'm not sure if I'm going to cheat and use a bore sighter to help me out, or if I'm going to just actually take my chances and lose some arrows. But they do make a laser bore sighter at least now that you can screw on the end of your crossbow bolt and sight her in. Voila! What could be more fun? But it doesn't sight it in. It just aligns the shaft with the scope. So you're still going to have to do some adjustments, obviously. That's the whole thing of bore sighters. At least you'll hit the damn target. Okay, so you're good. Now, a lot of people have been asking, can I hunt with the Javelin or the Saber in Canada? All right, here's what I'm going to tell you. You need to call the local M&R for your province, okay? So Ministry of Natural Resources. You do have to have a valid hunting license for small game either way. It's kind of a non-optional thing. But here's where we go with this. In Ontario, Canada, where I live, I called my M&R today. And I said, what can you tell me about the Umarex Air Javelin and the Saber about hunting? Can I do big game? Because either one of them has the legal power requirement to drop turkey and deer and above. Okay, well, at least, you know, up to deer anyways for 40 foot-pounds. The Saber can drop anything on the planet. So she said, here's what I'm going to tell you, okay? You can legally, providing you have your hunting license, which I do, okay? You can legally hunt any small game with the Javelin or the Saber, provided it's not a turkey. Okay, no turkey allowed. And deers are automatically big game, so you're lost there. But I said, well, the Saber, it puts out more foot-pounds of energy than the most powerful crossbow on the planet. Okay, well, it's because it falls under air gun firearm regulation. Okay, these are non-PAL. But even if it was a PAL-rated air gun, nuh-uh. You're only small game with air guns, period. Right across the board. Okay? So I said, okay. So even though this thing basically shoots an arrow or a bolt, doesn't matter. Okay? You're only allowed below turkey. Now, turkey was reclassified, for us in Ontario at least, as a small game bird, but, there's a but, okay? It's not part of airgun regulation small game, okay? So you have to be something like raccoons, skunks, gophers, partridge, pheasants, what else? Friggin' grouse, okay? Then maybe the same thing, depending on what you call them. I don't know. Anyway, point is, you can hunt that kind of small game, but no wild turkey, because wild turkey, you have to buy the tag for it either way, but you know, it's kind of an in-betweener. It's under small game as far as crossbows go, like a regular crossbow or a regular bow. You need 40 foot-pounds. Well, this has 40 foot-pounds, but it doesn't qualify because it's different laws and regulations for air guns as opposed to a non-air gun. Now, you don't have to have a firearm license for any crossbow or any compound bow or any bow, period, but these are not considered bows. These are considered air guns or air bows, okay? So regulations are different, okay? So this is why she said no wild turkey. You're going to have to go below a wild turkey on small game. Even though we reclassified the turkey, it doesn't count for these things. So I said, okay, well, what about the Saber? Because it can drop anything on the planet. She said, same thing. It's air-powered, whether it's PCP or CO2 gas, or even could be a pump-up. It's an air gun, therefore, it has to follow regulations for air guns. And all air guns, regardless of license or not, are considered firearms. It's just that when it's under 500 feet per second, you don't need a firearm license for an air gun, okay? Anyways, so I said, all right. So I can hunt my raccoons, I can take care of skunks as pests, I can take care of gophers too, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah, and you can hunt your grouse and other stuff that's all under the rest of the small game licensing. You're fine to go. So if you've been wondering about that, that's your answer. And I got that right from the horse's mouth, right from the M&R, because online forums can't answer this question properly. I checked, trust me. I even talked to my archery guy, and he thought that these things were illegal. I said, no, no, the air bow is illegal in Canada. That's a prohibited gun. But the Saber from Umarex and the Javelin, perfectly legit, not a problem, and yes, you can hunt, but small game. So if you were even thinking about getting a Saber, there's absolutely no point to it if you live in Ontario, because you're never going to be allowed to hunt big game with the Saber, okay? Unless the regulations change someday, but I wouldn't hold my breath, okay? But do check with your province in Canada, because not all provinces follow the same regulations, okay? So you may live in a province where they say, yeah, you can go shoot a deer with this thing because it's got the energy to do it, which it does, okay? But either way, even the Saber has more than enough to drop anything, so maybe you'll be okay in that province. But in Ontario, the Saber and the Javelin, strictly small game, except turkey is not allowed. So it's like, all right, whatever, okay, I'm fine. I just wanted to find out so I can stay out of trouble, because I'd rather know right from the horse's mouth what I can and can't do with this thing. So now it's kind of like, now it makes worthwhile owning this thing even that much more, because at least now anything small game I want to do, other than turkey, I can take care of with this thing if I want. And it is kind of loud and obnoxious, but you know, the Saber is even louder and more obnoxious, so what do you do, right? But anyways, so I want to just touch base with you guys on that. Once I can get this thing dialed up with a scope, because I do have a scope for it now, we'll do some shooting videos for you guys, do some target practice, and see how well I do with this freestanding, and yeah, maybe we'll even use the bipod, who knows. But I haven't shot the thing now in, a long time. If you look up Air Javelin, Umarex Air Javelin on my channel, check the date of that video. That was the last time I shot this thing. I haven't shot it ever since, okay? But I do have a whack load of bolts for it, or arrows, so I'm good there. So anyway, we're going to do some more shooting with this thing on the channel. I just got to get the time, energy, motivation, and a laser bore sighter wouldn't hurt either for doing arrows with. I actually have one for guns, but I got to get one for crossbow bolts so I can have a easier time setting up the scope. But I might try it without in the meantime and see how close I can dial it in. I should be all right. It's not that hard. I just don't know where this scope was set up, because I got it as a U scope and I have no idea who dialed what in on it, so I don't know what's going to happen, but maybe that could be a good reason to get the bipod going and kind of see where we're at with it. I can't shoot open sights anymore. My eyes are just screwed, and you know, and this kind of a sight system, it just boggles me how you're supposed to look through a friggin' round hole and sight in, and I can't even find videos to teach me how to use this thing properly for this kind of a sight system. So I'm just going to go with a scope and get it over with. You know, I'd rather hit what I'm aiming at than miss all the time and maybe even lose some arrows. So, you know, but figure it's got a long enough Picatinny rail. Might as well throw a scope on the sucker and maybe a few more toys. In the meantime, there's your info. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll definitely catch you guys on the next one. Ciao.